Hello, everybody. How the devil? That was a bit muted because I'm pissing about with settings. Right. Audio's all right, innit? Yeah. Winner. How's it going? Good evening, everybody. Right. Fucking Boris Johnson, eh? What a chopper. You know, what I think's weird about this is he doesn't seem to have realised that it's not really about the drinks party, right? It isn't. Of course, it's pure politics, because we all tried in little ways to get around the lockdown, right? It's not that. The real crux of this issue is, and it's something I've been saying from the beginning, which is, again, it's pretty mad, isn't it? The normal it takes bootnecks to talk fucking common sense to these people. People like me have been saying this for fucking 2 years, right? The real problem Boris Johnson's got is that Boris Johnson has spent the last 2 years putting insane proclamations out and rules that everybody knew were impossible to follow. They were so convoluted and confusing, even if you were a sad bastard and you wanted to try and follow them, you wouldn't be able to. They were convoluted, they were confusing, they were fucking ridiculous. We all remember them talking about Scotch eggs, right? Do you remember that one? And yes, hello, Beg Tets and everybody else following on Twitch. We all remember them putting out this ridiculous rule where, like, oh, you can go for a pint, but only if you have a meal. And when did you find a meal? Well, a meal could be a Scotch egg. Well, it can't be a bag of crisps, though. What the fuck? What difference does it make? The point everybody was making was you're putting out these insane proclamations that nobody in the right mind can fucking make head nor tail of. And of course, everybody's going to run afoul of them if you try it, and then you end up imposing arbitrary rules badly, because sometimes you enforce them and sometimes you don't, and it doesn't make any sense. And the real problem he's got, and I think this is the crux of my argument, this is the thing that's annoyed me more than anything else. Oh yeah, and there's my Twitch stream link if anybody wants it, because I'm trying to fucking plug it. Boris Johnson, fuckwit that he is, has spent the last 2 years pandering to people that will always despise you. And I was trying to think of a good analogy for this. But basically, again, I made a video about this about fucking 2 years ago because I was apoplectic with rage at Boris, fat fucker, coleslaw, bin liner full of coleslaw, albino, jellyfish, whatever euphemism you want to use. But I don't like using his basic name because he's that beneath me. He is lower than a snake's ball sack. He's spent 2 years courting people that will always, always despise him. Do you think woke left-wing communists, dyed-in-the-wool, paid-up Labour activists, or brainwashed BBC or Sky News journalists are going to change the mind because you use woke buzzwords and allow refugees and everybody who even fucking smells like one entering the country willy-nilly? Basically, he spent the last few years shitting all over conservative voters. And I'm attributing, maybe he doesn't even have a plan at all, but I'm attributing the thinking behind it. Some spad is going to have said, no matter what you do, they'll always vote conservative because there's no alternative. There's no alternative. So what you do is, you court the woke and the communists and the left-wing activists, and then maybe they'll vote for you. And all the conservative voters, you've already got them, Boris. You've already got them because they're thick as fuck and they're fucking losers and they'll always vote conservative no matter what you do to them. So he spent the last 2 years, again, I'm paraphrasing, this is what I'm thinking their thinking was. Because hopefully this was the thinking, because if it wasn't this, then they didn't have any fucking idea what they were doing, and they make less sense than piss Diane Abbott. So but maybe I'm attributing more intellect than them than they deserve. But what I'm thinking is they decided every Conservative voter would vote for Boris Johnson in the next election because they vote Conservative and all of the alternatives are left of them. So they told Boris Johnson to start being woke. Start being woke, Boris, and maybe you can scoop up a few million woke activists and you'll get all them Conservative voters because you can piss them off as much as you like and they'll still vote for you because they're fucking losers, right? And then you'll win easy. Yeah, that was the plan. Yeah, right? And people like me have been saying for years, right? We won't. If you start looking like you're pandering to wokists and commies and left-wing activists, I will not vote for you as long as there is a hole in my fucking arse, Boris. It is not happening. And we are willing to see communist activists and lefty ideologues in Downing Street rather than you shitbag. Because at least someone like Jeremy Corbyn has always been a lefty arsehole. That's one thing you can credit him with. Jeremy Corbyn's politics haven't moved on since he was 18. That's why he's a fucking idiot. Because when you're 18, you're not the cleverest. You're not the cleverest, are you, when you're 18? I think we can all hold our hands up and concede that. You're not the sharpest tool in your box when you're 18. That's why nobody wanted Corbyn to be the Prime Minister. Because he was like a fucking teenager. And his politics haven't moved on since he was a teenager. Because he's a fucking idiot. Step-tall looking scruffy cunt. Right? But at least I prefer him to Boris Johnson at this point, because at least he's always been a fucking idiot. Boris Johnson is just a creature, a swamp creature that blows with the wind. So his plan was, right? Yeah, and Nina and Coco has said exactly what I'm saying now. Who are you going to vote for? The alternative is Labour. I'm not voting. Yeah, I'm going to vote for the Reclaim Party or Reform UK or SDP, anyone, whoever, when it rolls around, because 2 or 3 years is a long time in politics. When it rolls around, I'll vote for whoever is most aligned with my politics, but I'm not voting Conservative. And I guarantee the same's going to happen. Yeah, there you go. ADHD might think he's making a quip there. I don't know if he's serious or not. You can't tell via text. But yeah, I'll be fucking happy in the salt mines. It's principle gives you a warm, fuzzy glow. I'm not voting for you, fatty. I'm not voting for you. And I guarantee about 15, 20% of the Conservative voters feel the same. So they're fucked. And if you think throwing Fatty out on his ass and putting Pob, Michael Gove, if you didn't watch yesterday, putting fucking Pob or one of them other charmless, not conservatives, political animal, slimy creatures in charge of the party, if you think that's going to make them win, you're as daft as they are, because they're doomed. They are doomed. Whatever percentage of people that are clued in and actually pay attention, not the normies, they are not going to vote Conservative in the next general election. And that'll be 10, 15, 20% of the vote. And in Britain, with the British system, that is an insurmountable lead. The Tories are fucked. And even if it's not as bad as you think it's going to be, the coalition will be made up easily of the left, because everybody else is a communist, right? So SNP, Labour, Lib Dems, Greens, Plaid Cymru, there's 5. They're all happy to rub shoulders. So the Tories are fucked because he took Conservatives for granted. And again, people like me were saying this the whole time. I cannot believe you thick bastard. What did Trump do to win? He played to his base. All Boris Johnson had to do was play to his base. If Boris Johnson had played to his base, he would be ahead in the polls. If he didn't side with left-wing ideologues on everything from immigration to vaccine mandates to these fucking statists on the left. Everything as well, by the way, with Boris Johnson. He sided with them on everything. Immigration, vaccine mandates, the destruction and tearing down of British institutions and statues and our way of life and our culture, constantly berating it, didn't stand up for Churchill. The man's a fucking loser. born loser. You play to your base, and everybody knows it. So the guy's a moron. I don't know what else to say. The Tories are fucked, and it's not because of the drinks party. It's not because of the drinks party. That's a tiny element of it. It's the hypocrisy, and it shows the stupidity of the rules. But it's not the drinks party. It's he wasn't playing to his base, and a massive number of Conservatives have turned their back on him, and they think he's a cunt. Easy. Just send a message on Twitch. There you go. Evening all. I'm in there. How are you doing? Right. I'll quickly cover it because we're here, aren't we? We're here. Speaking for the first time, admitted he attended a drinks party at number 10 during the first lockdown. What a fucking dickhead. Admitted he attended a drinks party during lockdown. Speaking of PMQs, he offered a heartfelt apology. Does anyone believe anything he says can be heartfelt? Starmer asked him to resign, call it a pathetic spectacle of a man who has run out of road. Yeah, and again, people like me who voted for Johnson and have voted Tory in the last 3 elections, we're happy with that now because we hate Johnson as much as we hate them. More, in fact, in it, because it's like he told us we always didn't like Keir Starmer and the Labour Party, but Boris Johnson sold us a lie. He's like a used car dealer. Keir Starmer's just your bog standard used car dealer. Boris Johnson's the used car dealer who sold us a fucking car with an engine full of sawdust. So we hate Boris Johnson. I hate him. He's doomed. He's got no fucking chance. Even the Scottish Conservative leader, Douglas Ross, said the PM's position is no longer tenable and he should resign. Yeah, he should. He should. This is what I mean. He's doomed because everybody hates him and now even the Conservatives are going there. Fuck him. You're not going to find one of the abased Conservative voter from the North who's going to support Boris Johnson now. I hate him. And whoever replaces him will be just as bad. And I'll hate them as well. But Johnson's doomed. When even Conservatives won't stick up for you, you're fucked. I think I left that comment on Twitter today. Was it Twitter? Let me have a quick look. But it was Guido Fawkes. They're worth following on Twitter, by the way, because you get good statistics off Guido Fawkes. They did a bit of a deep dive on the BBC, on the GB News statistics, because obviously GB News. Because what the left do is they think that if they just believe something loads, right? Lefties they're this infantile. They think if they really, really believe something, that it'll come true. Right? Like typical example. If you really, really strongly believe that a 6'4" fucking weightlifter with 4 arms like Popeye wants to be a woman and says he is a woman, then he definitely is. He definitely is. You know why? Because you really believe it. That's like that. That's one of the backbones of the postmodernist movement, isn't it? There's no such thing as a grand narrative. Everything you think you knew was wrong, and really you can make anything whatever you want. Everything is whatever you desire it. That's why art, right? Postmodernist art. It's like fuck Picasso and Van Gogh, right? If I just take a shit in the middle of the street, but then I like point at it and insist vehemently, that is definitely art. Definitely. That shite, that personifies the establishment and the cultural norms and the heteronormativity of the patriarchal society system. And then the modern parents and the Guardian readers and the critics go, oh, yeah, marvellous. Marvellous, yes. It's absolutely exquisite, darling. Yeah, fuck off. Again, these people think they're cleverer than us. They think they're cleverer than like a fucking plumber from Hartlepool. It's like he knows more in his left testicle than these fucking brainwashed academics can get their heads around in a fucking month of Sundays. They have no clue about anything. And yeah, here's the piece from Guido Fawkes. Public support for Boris collapsing. Should he resign? Yeah. He's shit on his own voters. Of course it's collapsing. This is my point. Labour have always hated him, and the woke will always hate him. And he took the Tories for granted and spent the last 2 years trying to win the people that hate him over. The only analogy I can think of that's similar to that is not getting your missus a Valentine's Day card, right? Because you just know she'll always love you anyway. And instead, going to your ex-girlfriend's house who caught you in bed with a sister, and every year buying her a fucking Valentine's card and a bunch of flowers. And you just think, yeah, but I don't really want her to hate me. So as long as I just get a present every Valentine's Day, eventually she'll fucking like me. No, she'll always think you're a cunt. And if you waste your time on her and take your own missus for granted, eventually she's going to think you're a cunt as well. Right? I think that is quite a sensible analogy. That's what Boris Johnson's done. He thought if he just pandered to the walk and talked about extinction, climate change, like we voted, like red wall Tories in fucking Newcastle voted for Boris Johnson because the only thing they're worried about was we didn't have enough fucking refugees breaking into Newcastle and Newcastle's climate emissions are too high. Like, fuck, Jesus Christ. How thick is he? How thick is he? Like some working class Geordie scaffolders there going, I tell you what, we need more fucking Iraqis in the tune, like. We definitely need some more unvetted Afghans wandering around the tune, fingering all the lasses and that. That's not what they voted for, you thick cunt. I tell you what, I'm fucking devastated about our climate emissions, me like. Why, yeah. What about the 1.9 billion Chinamen? Right, but I tell you, the tune can do a lot more, you know. I want to tax the balls off us. It's absolutely ridiculous. The man's a fucking idiot. So yeah, resign. Do it. Right, that's enough about that anyway. I'm fucking pissed off. I hate him. You know what? I'm telling you what, I think I'm getting a bit fucked in the head from all this. Because the other night I had a dream about Boris Johnson. I had a dream that he was like being attacked in Parliament and there was loads of fucking like blokes with knives. And I remember sort of thinking like good and then sort of feeling bad and thinking, oh God, actually I feel a little bit sorry for him as he was like curled up on the floor. And I had these conflicting emotions and I woke up thinking, whoa, maybe I am vanishing down the rabbit hole of like hatred. Like I am actually starting to hate these people and you shouldn't. So I don't want him to see him murdered, but in my darkest, you know, your dreams is where your dark thoughts come out, isn't it? So you can't be held accountable for your dreams. But there was a moment there in the back of my psyche where I was pleased that he was being fucking pulled to bits by an angry mob. And yeah, it's definitely sending me a bit weird. You shouldn't hate a man that much. Hopefully my brain will wash itself clean during those sleeping hours and I won't descend into fucking gibbering hatred for him like all the Guardian readers. But yeah, the man's a cunt and he deserves everything he gets. You do something else? I'll tell you what, here's a good one we can do. The World Bank. You know, we've talked a lot about how we are sort of living in 1984, where even though we think we're free people, we don't realise that the powers that be, regardless of who you vote for, have been consumed. That's a good question. Son of Max says, why no super chats? I don't have super chats, Son of Max, because I don't have a monetized channel. I've never actually monetized it out of stubbornness because I don't want to give them the satisfaction of applying to have it monetized and then waiting 2 weeks and having them take it off me. So because I work for a living and I don't do this for financial rewards, I've never had a monetized channel and I don't think I ever will. Maybe if someone can show me good data that it could possibly help them actually show anybody my videos, I could be talked into it. But for the last 2 years, I haven't done it and I don't want to do it. Again, that's probably very childish, right? I'm sure I'm completely beneath their notice, but I just like the idea of them thinking, let's demonetize the cunt. And then they look and they go, he's never even applied. That's probably somewhat childish. But yeah, I'm a stubborn bootneck bastard and I've always been stubborn, somewhat childish. So yeah, that's why. If you want to give me any money, you have to fucking click on one of them links on my YouTube channel and whatever it is, Ko-fi and something else. But yeah, fuck them. I've never done it. Think about the money. Fuck the money. You know, one thing I liked about, again, disagree with his politics entirely, but I like people of principle. Alan Moore, the comic book guy, right? Because I was big into comics when I was a teenager. Alan Moore's proper a dyed-in-the-wool socialist type, right? And totally disagree with his politics. But again, I can respect a man who I totally disagree with, but I know they believe it out of genuine, passionately held beliefs. It's like Richard Dawkins said about how he prefers dyed-in-the-wool Catholics over like fence-sitting agnostics because it's like, yeah, pick a position. That's what I'm like. So I really like that about Alan Moore, and I remember seeing an interview with him when he was just refusing to let any of the film companies have any of his input for movies. And he said, right, DC cheated me. I'm not doing anything for them anymore. He said they were basically just getting him in the office and saying, we'll give you any amount of money you want. We'll give you a blank check. What do you want? And he said, like, you could see it slowly go through these sort of bigwig Hollywood executives' heads because all they do is care about money, right? He said you could see it tick over in their heads where they couldn't believe it. They thought he was negotiating his position to try and get more money. And when he kept saying no, he said, you've seen it slowly tick over, and they went, if he's not bothered about money, what does he want? And this is what politicians are like as well. Politicians, Guardianistas, because they're all rich, middle-class arseholes. James O'Brien's of the world, Owen Joneses of the world. They're obsessed with money. They become socialists because they're obsessed with money. Everyone I know in Borough is a socialist. I've got a couple of mates who are hardcore fucking Labour socialists. Oh, the people, the people. They are the tightest cunts you'll ever meet. When you go to the bar with them, they're always the last one up and the last one to put their hand in the pocket. I firmly believe that the reason people become socialists and Labour voters and woke communists is because they're obsessed with money. Whereas most working class conservatives are like me, where you just go, what am I going to do with it anyway? I'm immune to being bribed. If my boss, like I told you guys, these people who humiliate themselves on television, if they said to me, like, I'll give you $500,000 to go and embarrass yourself on TV, I'd say, it's not fucking happening, mate. Maybe I'm being, it sounds like hyperbole because it's unlikely anybody will ever offer it. But being a bootneck, I really got used to embracing a Spartan lifestyle. Why is Angry Bootneck not playing on here? Is he offline? Oh, I'm online, or at least I should be. Kaiser's mum, I use StreamYard, which simultaneously goes across like 3 platforms. I'm not on Twitch, I'm on StreamYard, but it should be displaying on Twitch. And if it isn't, sorry, I don't know what to do about it. Kaiser's mum, I'm obviously as technologically inept as bootnecks are apparently supposed to be. But yeah, I embrace the Spartan living, and I think I've tried to tell everybody on this channel that's sort of Chris Thrall's mantras, right? And I firmly believe in that. I'm not as good at it as Chris Thrall because he's like a motivational speaker, but the point I've always made is you need to rid yourself of this mentality that money makes you happy, because it definitely doesn't. And the reason I've got money in the bank is because I've lived within my means for many, many years. Like whenever I get to the end of a month and I've always got money left over, and I go, oh, what can I do with that? I don't want a car. I don't want a new car. I've got a nice piece of shit 15-year-old Toyota that's perfectly fucking sound. And when I was a kid, I was like, God, get in. I was the type of person who think like I'd never own anything good. So I've got a nice Toyota and I'm like, yeah, it's fucking sound that. I don't want a car. I don't want clothes. I don't buy jewelry. There's nothing I can spend it on. All I buy is like a tub of protein powder once a month and tiny amount of food because I eat very little. Like I don't like posh restaurants. If I was a billionaire, I'd still drink pints of Stella and I'd still eat fucking chicken McNuggets. It's like, that is good for your mind. If you can develop the Spartan mentality and think, money doesn't make me happy, that will make you happy. If the definition of wealth, this is another David Gemmell line stolen from one of his books. Who was it who corrected me yesterday? Someone will correct me. But I believe it was Hero in the Shadows. I might be wrong. And the little Ranji swordsman's talking to this fucking rich merchant. And the merchant says to him, why aren't you the richest man in the realm? Because you're the fucking best swordsman there is. And he says, why would I want to do that? And he says, to be wealthy. And the swordsman says, define wealth. Oh, it was Terry, yeah. Terry's a man of good taste. He follows the Angry Bootneck, and more importantly than that, he reads a lot of David Gemmell. And he says, define wealth. And the guy says, wealth is the ability to purchase everything you desire. And the Ranji swordsman says to him, but I have everything I desire. All I desire is a little food and water each day. Am I not wealthy? And the man's like, oh yeah. It's a good mentality to cultivate, because then you've got your principles. I can't be bought with a Toyota or a fucking pile of jewels. I don't like jewelry. I don't like puffy shirts with fucking cravats on them. I don't like fancy cars because I don't want to look like a twat when I'm driving it around. You know, if you're in Borough and you're driving around in a 100 grand car, everyone will think you're a cunt anyway. So, yeah, it's the best way to be, and you'll be happy. Money doesn't buy happiness. It's a cliche, but it's true, because I've got money and I just buy stocks and stuff with it because I've got nothing else to do with it. I don't care. I don't want a massive mansion. It's just more things to clean because I'm a bootneck, and obviously we like to keep things spick and span. It's just more things to clean. I don't want to buy clothes, jewels, drugs, anything. And I don't eat much, or else because I'll be a fat fucker. So there you go. Easy. Sadwings have got to repair his flaw. Oh, it's his niece's flaw. Oh, well, it's even more important if it's for your niece. You can put up with your own shit work, but your niece won't have it. Good luck, Sadwings. DIY, I'm not a massive fan of. So, yeah. Went off on a tangent there. I'll finish what I'm trying to talk about. We discussed how Forge World, yeah, well, I suppose I could be tempted into buying some of their stuff. The World Bank is just another example of what I'm talking about, whereby it doesn't really matter who we vote for, because all the powers that be have been consumed by ideologues. And I read this story from the World fucking Bank, who you would think, is there anybody more capitalist than the World Bank? And yeah, I read this story and I was like, it just reads like something fucking AOC was going to put out. And it just, again, proves my point that the people that call themselves liberal don't know the meaning of the word. The people that are dyed-in-the-wool Remainiacs are attacking working-class people from up north. That's who predominantly voted for Brexit. 75% of people in towns like Hartlepool, Sunderland, Middlesbrough voted for Brexit. And you get posh, middle-class, wealthy arseholes, Guardian readers, BBC journalists, almost all of the House of Lords, almost all of the Houses of Parliament, all of the big banks, all of the globalist corporations, all of the millionaires and the billionaires, 99% of them voted Remain. And these people with the self-awareness of a goldfish in a hijab will sit there and go, only the rich wanted Brexit. Yeah, you've been fooled by the rich, man. You've been fooled by the rich, yo. Some middle-class arsehole in Kensington is telling a fucking plumber from Leeds that he's been fooled by the rich, when 95% of the rich fucking wanted us to stay in the European Union, and that's why it almost didn't bastard happen, even though we had a fucking referendum and we pissed it. We beat them by 1 million fucking votes, and it almost never happened because the rich and powerful, the elites, didn't want it to. And fucking middle-class arseholes like Owen Jones will go, it's power to the people, man. You don't represent the people, you fucking shithead. You agree with all the big banks and all the big corporations and the House of Lords and the House of Parliament and the BBC and the fucking royal family and any other cunt I can think of that isn't a working-class shithead in a council estate in Yorkshire. So stop fucking telling me about, you're being misled by the elites. You are the elites, cunto. All right? Fuck them. Anyway, went on a bit of a rant. I'll just read this, because listen to this. So this is the World Bank. These are these institutions that I've told you have been taken over by communists, ideologues, loony fucking lefties. It says, the global economy faces a grim outlook, World Bank President David Malpass has warned, as the aftershocks of the pandemic continue to weigh down, especially in, of course, you knew it would end with that, especially in poor countries. You need to give them all the money. Fuck the poor people in Middlesbrough. Send all the money to the fucking Indians. His organisation's latest forecast predicts global growth will slow to 4%. It attributed the slowdown to virus threats, government and aid unwinding, and an initial rebound in demand fading. But Mr. Malpass said his greatest worry was widening global inequality. Yeah, the fucking World Bank, and it sounds like a fucking AOC press release. Listen, just a thing on inequality. There's nothing inherently wrong with inequality. I have always made far less money than millionaires and billionaires. However, my life has always been comfortable. I've never had to miss a meal. I've never been unable to afford clothing. And I've never been afforded shelter and a warm bed. Unless I was in the fucking military and it's part of the gig. Right? Inequality is not a big problem. If some fucker's earning $1 billion a year and I'm earning $50,000 a year, I'm fucking golden. I'll never go hungry. I can afford to go on holiday. I can afford to have a car. I can afford to clothe myself. I can afford medical procedures. I'm all right. What's the problem with inequality? So these commies just don't make sense. It's not the big drag is the inequality that's built into the system. You work for the World Bank, you cunt. You see what I'm saying here? These fucking people. How much money do you think Mr. Malpass has got? Do you think Mr. Malpass is skint? Think he lives in a council estate in fucking Hull and he had spam for his dinner last night? These people are beyond satire. It is always the richest, most powerful people trying to claim that they're the ones that are fucking hard done by. This reads like a fucking something Jeremy Corbyn put out. There's nothing wrong with inequality as long as everybody's got enough to get by. I don't care if Jeff Bezos earns fucking $4 billion a year, as long as I can feed my kids, right? So stop going on about it. Look at this, especially vulnerable. This made me laugh as well. The outlook for the country is to fall further and further behind. Shut the fuck up, commie. And Mr. Malpass blamed stimulus programs. Well, hey, we can agree there, mate. We can fucking agree there for a change. This is what made me laugh. Look at this one. The problem with rate hikes is it hurts people that need floating rate money. And that's usually new businesses, women-owned businesses. Women-owned businesses. Yeah. So it's women-owned businesses that need fucking money. If you're a bloke, tough shit, mate. If you're a struggling bloke in fucking Newcastle and you've just set up a sandwich shop, right? But you're not making any money. What do you want the World Bank to go? Excuse me, have you got tits? Well, no, I'm a bloke. You don't need any help. It's women-owned businesses that we're worrying about, fella. Like, they're just spewing out bullshit lefty talking points that self-evidently make no sense. What do you mean, women? What the fuck? Does the market care whether the owner of the business has got a pair of threepenny bits or a fucking 12-incher? Does the market care? I think it'd possibly be relevant if he's talking about countries where women are not allowed to own shit, at which point, then they're not allowed to own a fucking business anyway, are they? So I don't see what point he's making. It's not relevant to the first world, where women and men are supposed to be equal. And it's not fucking relevant to the third world, because the poor cunts can't own anything anyway. So he's just spewing lefty talking points. Absolute fucking bollocks. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is conclusive proof of the Bootneck's point. We are not free people, and we're not living in a fucking democracy. The left-wing ideologues have consumed everything that used to be a trusted institution. When the head of the World Bank sounds like AOC with 6 pints of fucking Prosecco in her, you know you're in the shit. Don't, right? It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a fact. The elites that run the world all claim to be against the elites. They are the elites. The BBC, Sky News, Channel 4, the Home Secretary, the Houses of fucking Parliament, the House of Lords, the fucking lot of them, the royal family, and they'll all sit there all day going, ooh, inequality, climate change, the women, oh, we've got to help the poor. You fucking arseholes. You're ignoring the poor, stitching up the poor in your own countries, and all the while you're talking about inequality, man. Fuck off. They are the elites. If you're a fucking Remainer, 9 times out of 10, you'll be an upper crust twit, a middle class arsehole, a fucking British politician, the top man in a fucking global organization by the World Bank, the IMF, the fucking big banks. All the big banks were in lockstep on Brexit. All the fucking politicians were in lockstep on Brexit. All the House of Lords, all the big media organizations, basically, they were all in lockstep. And they'll claim with a straight face, oh, you know what? We're looking out for the working classes. The working classes told you what they wanted, you fucking rat bastards. They told you. And you did everything in your power for 4 years to tell them to fuck off. So don't tell me this waffle. And if you think it's going to save you when the actual commies take over and fucking eat, that's what they do. Read a history book. They fucking eat people like this silly twat. What a load of bollocks. Have we got time for one more? Okay, 5 minutes. What do you want? We've got... I suppose I can do them really, really fast. This one was funny. Can the silver fox out with Vladimir Putin? No. It's another one of Bootneck's law, right? Long-term viewers, if the BBC asks a question, the answer is always fucking no. Always. Look at this one. Can the silver fox out with Vladimir Putin? So this bloke is feared by all of our leaders because they're little saggy pussies, and he was actually in the fucking KGB, right? And they think, guess who they've picked to defeat him? Like, if it was me, I'd be like, who can we pick to defeat Vladimir Putin? I don't know, fucking Arnie. Andy McNabb. Someone who's actually got some balls. I'm kidding about Arnie, he's an actor, but you know what I'm saying. You know who they've picked? Guess who the silver fox is? Wendy Sherman, one of the world's most powerful diplomat. Again, you know what the mob does to diplomats? They remind me of the fucking the senators during the fall of Rome, when they're like, oh, we've got all the men of quality. They're all upper crust twats, right? Same as all the Remainers now. Oh, yes, the mob's up in arms, but we've got all the men of quality. We've got the Lictors Guild. And Mark Anthony's like, oh, you've got the Lictors Guild, have you? Well, I've got an angry fucking mob, and they will kick you to bits on the Senate floor and fucking eat your kids, you cunts. It's like, ooh, the powerful diplomats. Because BBC journalists and all these people that are unused to horrific acts of violence, which is what you get when the world collapses into a fucking dust bowl, thanks to the machinations of left-wing ideologues that are arrogant beyond belief. They think the world's most powerful diplomat is like the biggest, diplomat. People like Cathy Newman that are protected by men who will do extreme violence on her behalf. They think being the world's most powerful diplomat is the best thing ever, the scariest thing ever. Now, you know what's scary? When you rile up the angry mob, and the angry mob wants to pull your fucking diplomat's arms and legs off. So I would counsel these fucking activist types who are desperate to usher in the next glorious revolution to calm the fuck down, because when it kicks off, the people that are most valuable are not diplomats, and it's not actors and singers either. It's people with strong arms, strong minds, and well-polished steel. Or in this day and age, well-oiled fucking firepower. So maybe calm down with the rhetoric, you daft lefty cunts. But Wendy Sherman, do you know what she is? She wasn't like the first ever female special forces operator. Wendy Sherman was, where is it? I read this fucking story earlier. Spoke about being a woman was not a barrier to her progress. Again, because you're lucky enough to live in a country where women get fucking worshipped and all you do is whinge about it and say we should pull the system down, you fucking ignorant twat. But Wendy Sherman, look at that. Steely grey hair. Despite the grueling nature of negotiations. I'll tell you what's grueling, love. Crawling through the nettles on Woodbury Common with 2 hours with your fucking bowels out. That's grueling. Fucking grueling. Ooh, negotiations. Fuck me. They call her the fox because of her tricky approach to talks. You mean she's a liar? You mean she's a born liar? She's a rat. She's born to do politics because she's a fucking rat. Probably is a good nickname for her because the fox is fucking classed as vermin as well, isn't it? And yeah, she developed her diplomatic skills in an unusual manner after studying at University of Maryland School of Social Work. She helped foster children in Baltimore, and as a caseworker in the 80s, she became frustrated with the effort to save abused children. So to answer the question, no. The person who's going to outwit Vladimir Putin is a fucking social worker. A social worker. I mean, there's lots of soft cunts in the world, but probably the softest of the lot is a social worker. If you think a KGB bloke who still does fizz, works out a lot, likes to go fishing and pump iron, you think a former KGB guy is going to get outwitted by a fucking social worker? The one group of people that everybody knows is as soft as a second-hand arsehole, and you think he's going to get outwitted by a social worker. That tells you everything you know about the BBC. They think the pinnacle of all fucking diplomatic personnels, that not just that, the pinnacle of society are left-wing academics beloved by the BBC. And when the shit hits the fan, social workers, along with actors and singers, will be worth less than fuck all. So, hey, maybe it'll benefit me when the communists usher in the glorious revolution. Maybe a large part of me will fucking revel in it. But I'm still hoping we can walk it back from the brink and actually live in a fucking democracy where we listen to the working class people when they ask for things instead of ignoring everything they fucking say and pandering to authoritarian, illiberal autocrats that haven't got the IQ of a fucking pork pie. I live in hope we can walk it back from the brink, but we shall see. Right, just sub your channel here, you're from Gateshead, worst place in the northeast. And hello everyone in chat. Andrew, I'll see Gateshead and raise you a Middlesbrough. Anyway, let's not get into which northern town's the biggest shithole. Although I will say, I was the first bootneck in coalition history to leap out of a helicopter in Baghdad and say, fucking hell, it's sound here. Any chance I can get a council house? Rabdul Rafiki. Any chance you can sort us out with an Iraqi passport? Fuck off, Borough. We don't like riffraff in Baghdad, right? We've got some standards. Okay, I'm off, guys. Thanks for all the bants, as usual. Thanks for liking and sharing and subbing and all of that bollocks. I will see you all. What day is it tomorrow? Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, Thursday. I'm not busy tomorrow. See you all on the morrow at approximately 7 p.m. UK. Marvellous. Have a good night, everybody. Much appreciated. Toodle fucking pip.